Hello, dear fans, friends, and subscribers of Cricket Happenings. Pakistan have squared the series against England today by romping to a 10-wicket victory on the fourth day at the Oval, and it was only fitting that they actually completed the formalities on the fourth day itself. The reason being, it was absolutely an occasion to celebrate for Pakistan, as it was Independence Day for Pakistan today. That's on 14th August, and as we all know, tomorrow it's India's Independence Day, that is 15th August. So that's how I know that it is Pakistan's Independence Day, and they could have not had, the Pakistani cricket fans would have not had a greater gift than getting England to actually finish off the match on the Independence Day by actually winning this match by 10 wickets and also squaring the series with both Alistair Cook of England and Misbah-ul Haq sharing the trophy after contesting very fiercely in this 4-test series. And let me also tell you that who says that test cricket does not have results? This is a very apt example. 4 tests played, 2 to Pakistan, 2 to England. And Pakistan have done very well. They've won the first one, they lost the other both, and then they came up trumps in the final match here at the Oval. And they truly deserved it. And yes, there was one big architect of the innings, and we know Asad Shafiq also made a century, but Yunus Khan's innings definitely stood out. 218, a monumental effort from him. Well, so that is as far as that match is concerned. So Pakistan have actually won the, they have squared the series, and now the focus will be shifting on to the one-day internationals and T20s. 5 ODIs coming up between Pakistan and England. And next thing, we were looking at the Sri Lanka versus Australia. Today was the second day, and on the second day, it was the turn for Dinesh Chandimal to get to his 7th Test century against the Aussies. And in fact, Sri Lanka posting the highest total of the series as they finished on 355 all out. But one good thing to happen for Australia was that Australia at stumps they gave a solid reply, as they were 141 for 1, and the person who was drafted in the team for the first time was Shaun Marsh, who definitely showed why he's a good player of spin, as he was not out on 64, and Stephen Smith was also keeping him company with some good technique, not out on 61. So Australia for the first time in the series looking their self, one could say. So from here I'm going to start off with the game between England and Pakistan. Today was the 4th day of the test match, and England resuming on their overnight score with Gary Ballance and Jonathan Bairstow in the middle. In fact, there was an early wicket in the morning as Sohail Khan got a ball to actually leave Ballance and also got some lift on this particular pitch, and Gary Ballance was snapped up by Sarfraz Ahmed behind the stumps for 17 with 1 boundary. In walked in Moeen Ali, and Moeen Ali immediately as he came in, he got off the mark with a beautiful flick of his legs for a boundary, showing that immense confidence that he had in the first innings. And at the other end, Jonathan Bairstow was also getting on to stroke making, as he was also playing his natural strokes there, as Bairstow and Moeen Ali actually started retrieving the situation for England after the early loss of balance today, as the score really started moving along with a very good partnership happening, which added 65 runs, but it was not enough. They had to get into a big partnership, but it was not to. As it reached 193, we saw that Moeen Ali was dismissed. Now this was well thought out by Yasir Shah, dragging Moeen Ali to actually go for a sort of a lofted drive there, and in the process Sarfraz Ahmed picking up the catch. He was gone for 32 with 4 boundaries, and after that we saw Wahab Riaz get into his zone. Now Wahab Riaz, the other day we saw that how he actually nipped out the wicket of Alistair Cook yesterday evening, and today as soon as Wahab Riaz was the one who was actually instrumental in getting 2 quick wickets. As first he picked up the wicket of Jonathan Bairstow with a lifting delivery for Jonathan Bairstow as he tried to cut it, and Azhar Ali in the slips actually poaching it. So Jonathan Bairstow was gone, but not before making a good contribution of 81 with 8 boundaries. And Chris Wokes, superb fielding. I mean, we saw Vabrias wrapping up the pace, and he was really looking pretty menacing at times. And Chris Wokes was the one who was a victim, as Vabrias got his energy to run as balanced, but Jonathan Bairstow was the one who actually had played the ball down the leg side, and he called for a single. And before Wokes could realize it, Vabrias was onto the ball in a flash, and in he really swooped onto the ball, and with knees bended, he actually threw down the stumps to catch Chris Wokes' shot, and Chris Wokes was run out for 4, and that made it 209 for 7 with still some runs to get for England to actually get into the lead. Stuart Broad was the after that after that Bairstow was out to the bowling of Vabrias, and then Stuart Broad was a victim of the bowling of Yasir Shah for 5, which made it 21 for 9, and it was just a matter of when. But Stephen Finn and James Anderson hit out in their brief stay at the crease there. As for the 10th wicket, they added some very quick runs, as they added 35 runs in 7 overs, with finally the test debutant Iftikhar Ahmed getting his maiden test wicket when he actually had James Anderson LBW for 17 with 2 boundaries, which brought an end to the proceedings as far as England was concerned. England were all out for 253. Stephen Finn was not out on 16 with 2 boundaries, and thus setting Pakistan the most easiest of tasks of just scoring 40 runs for victory, which they did it pretty easily, as they finished off with a 10-wicket victory. The bowling, well, Yasir Shah went up with the 5-wicket bag, but definitely missed upon the opportunity of being the fastest to the 100 wickets. So this particular record will still stand in the name of that famous bowler George Lohmann, who actually picked up 100 wickets he picked up in 16 tests, which Yasir Shah could not break the record. But Yasir Shah would be happy that he actually bagged this 5-wicket haul there. 29 overs, 4 maiden, 71 runs and 5 wickets for Yasir Shah, bowled splendidly with 2 wickets to Wahab Riaz. And Wahab Riaz was also sent off the field. I mean, he could not bowl in the match any further due to a transgression where he was actually running down the pitch. He was given, as you know, there is 2 warnings given, and if you do it the 3rd time, you lose the opportunity to bowl in that particular innings, and that's what precisely happened with Wahab Riaz, as Wahab Riaz was called in by Bruce Oxenford, the umpire, and that was it for Wahab Riaz. So Wahab Riaz had to end up with figures, well, 11.2 overs in maiden, 2 for 48, and Pakistan, for them, as I said, it was just a matter of when, as they scored 42 for no loss, and as Sami Aslam was played quietly to be unbeaten on 12 when the victory came with 2 boundaries, but Azhar Ali was playing some very nice strokes through the offside, and then finally he belted one into the spectators to get the Pakistan to a 10-wicket victory on their Independence Day, as Azhar Ali was pumping his fists after getting the victory, as Azhar Ali finished on not out on 30 with 4 boundaries. The match was over. Pakistan had squared the series and also won the match, won the final test match by 10 wickets. Bowling, nothing to really talk about there, and the 4-match series, which was very well contested according to me, between Pakistan and England, came to the conclusion with Pakistan and England sharing the series, with 2 matches won by Pakistan and 2 matches won by England, and the man of the match went to Yunus Khan of Pakistan for that monumental knock, and the player of the series was jointly shared by Misbah-ul-Haq of Pakistan and Chris Wokes of England. So that is as far as the England versus Pakistan game goes. So now the focus will be shifting on to the 5 one-day internationals and the T20s that are coming up. It's a big victory for the Pakistan chief coach Mickey Arthur. This was his first assignment as coach of Pakistan, and he could not have been more happier than what happened to be. So the next thing that I'm going to look at now is the match between Australia and Sri Lanka. So Australia and Sri Lanka today, Sri Lanka resuming at their overnight score of 214 for 5 after a dramatic recovery with both Dhananjay De Silva and Chandimal. But today Dhananjay De Silva was an early victim of the bowling of Nathan Lyon as he was caught by Shaun Marsh. I thought it was on the bat pad. He was caught in the forward short leg region after Dhananjay De Silva made 129 with 18 boundaries, his career best score there. And after that, we saw Dilruwan Pereira come in and started giving company to Chandimal. And Chandimal definitely was pretty sedate. He knew that he had a responsibility to be at the crease, and that's what he precisely was doing. But once Dhananjay De Silva was gone, we saw that Chandimal was also getting into the stroke making region, no doubt about it. And Dilruwan Pereira hit a quick 16 with 3 boundaries before becoming a victim of John Holland. And after that, Rangana Herath came in and joined Chandimal. And Rangana Herath, as you know, is a very tough customer, and he showed that by actually occupying the crease along with Chandimal, nurturing Chandimal to a century. As Rangana Herath's contribution was 33. He was actually, you couldn't be, his wicket could not be taken as he actually retired hurt, as Josh Hazelwood actually hit him on the box probably, or below the box, and Rangana Herath had to retire hurt for 33 with 3 fours. After that, it was Dinesh Chandimal getting on to his 7th test century, as finally we saw that Chandimal, once Rangana Herath left, we saw that Chandimal started playing his strokes with some real force there, as Chandimal finished his 7th test century. But Stark actually picked up his wicket to get him out for 132 with 13 fours and 1 6. And the final man out was Siranga Lakmal, who was the victim of Stark, to give Stark his 3rd 5-wicket bag in the series. Sandakan was not out on 4, and the Sri Lankans for the first time getting on to their highest score total of the series, as they were all out for 355. The bowling figures, Mitchell Starc, we have seen that even though Australia have been not doing very well here against Sri Lanka, but one thing one can say that Mitchell Starc is the one who has actually had 3 5-wicket hauls in this series. 25.1 overs, 11 maidens, 63 runs and 5 wickets. Marvellous bowling from him. Ably supported by Nathan Lyon, who toiled hard. 50 overs, 11 maidens, 110 runs and 3 wickets, and 1 wicket to John Holland for 69. Also bowled well. 37 overs, 8 maidens, 69 runs and 1 wicket. Hazelwood 18 overs, 4 maidens, none for 52. 10 overs, 1 maiden, none 45 for Mitchell Marsh, and Stephen Smith 1 over for 5 runs. Australia, the openers started off. It was very interesting to see as to what they would be doing, and we saw that Australia started off with Dilruwan Pereira bowling. Dilruwan Pereira was given so Suranga Lakmal was not the one who actually had the new ball. The new ball was given to the spinners, and it was Dhananjay De Silva who actually picked up the wicket of Warner. Because Warner, it was a good ploy, I thought, on the part of Angelo Matthews to have a sort of an surprise element there by giving the ball to the spinners and to exploit anything that was there. And we definitely saw that David Warner, who had an aggressive approach as he smote a 6 of Dhananjay De Silva, but then David Warner was an early goner of Dilruwan Pereira, as he was an early goner to the bowling of Dhananjay De Silva, as he tried to hit one too many, one could say, as Pereira took the catch, bowled by De Silva for 11 with 1 4 and 1 6, and a brief stay at the crease there. And after that, it was Shaun Marsh who was in the middle, who was the opening partner, and Stephen Smith. And after that, the Aussies, Shaun Marsh showing some very good technique against the spinners by keeping the ball all along the carpet, and also hitting strokes. He was using his feet beautifully to the spinners, and one definitely knew as to why Shaun Marsh was selected, because the way he was playing, that was really giving the impression that Shaun Marsh is a good player of spin. And not only that, it was not only the matter of actually playing. He played all the spinners very well. He also dealt with Sandakan very well, which was good to see, because Sandakan would have been a sort of a surprise element for him. And he also saw he dealt with the spin of Rangana Herath and Dhananjay De Silva and Dhirruvan Pereira too very well. As I said, he used his feet very well to the spinners as in a partnership which is still going on, which had already added 120 runs for the second wicket, with Stephen Smith himself really showing some good technique. And we saw that Stephen Smith was very watchful. He was getting close to the ball and he was smothering whatever whatever spin was going, whatever the turn was there, and he was playing very well. And we all know that Stephen Smith himself is a very good player of spin, and we saw the approach was very good. Good technique from both the batsmen, Sean Marsh and Stephen Smith, to the Sri Lankan spinners today, which enabled them to post a solid reply at close on the first day, on the second day of this final Test match, with the Australian score rating 141 for 1, with Sean Marsh not out 64 with 10 delicately timed boundaries, especially through the offside. Stephen Smith was not out on 61. He had 1 6 also to his name, with 5 fours in his unbeaten knock of 61. And for the first time we saw for the first time we saw that Australia ended up well, and also we saw 2 50s coming in, and that has also been a rarity in this series. I mean, only 150 has been hit so far, and it was good to see that the Aussies had 2 50s under the belt today. And the bowling, well, as I said, Pereira 17 overs, 2 minutes, 148, bowled well. Dhananjay De Silva got the important wicket of David Warner, 1 for 20. Rangana Herath 13 overs, 2 minutes, 1 for 36. 4 overs for 19 for Lakshan Sandakan, and Surangal Akmal bowled 4 overs for 13. So definitely the battle is on. Australia have still a long way to go. Their primary target 355. They definitely have to really play for a long time, and they have to see to it that they get on to the lead, lest it's going to be very difficult for them, as Australians are the ones who would be actually batting last on this pitch, and the pitch is definitely bound to crumble, and Australia will be pretty aware about that. But all in all, I would say a very nice day's play coming up on the third day. Well, dear fans and subscribers, that really sums up everything as far as today's Cricket Happening show is concerned. Hope you all enjoyed this cricket show and broadcast of mine today. I hope to see you all tomorrow. Until then, it's goodbye for the day. Thank you.